go ahead and get yourself a slice of wood to begin the process of building a forest scene. You're going to want tacky glue, diluted with water and kept in another bottle. I used 2 cotton balls to make a mossy ground on my slice of wood. Unroll the cotton ball. And now you have a sheet of cotton to lay down. I found it easier to pour my diluted glue into the cap of the bottle. And dab the cotton in because I wanted it to be soaked with glue. Then I laid it down in a hopefully random way. I pressed it for a good contact. I left some uneven places to look more like uneven ground or leaves or sticks or even little rocks. I topped up my glue as needed. And this is mostly for control of the glue. I didn't want it to spill all over, so I had it in a bottle I could handle easily and poured it into a small cup that would dry out if there was a mistake. I wanted some of the wood to show through the ground that I was building. But I did want to give the impression that this was a leafy, mossy woodland floor. I left some pieces standing up also to give the effect of leaves or grass. There's no need to think of this as a leafy place. I did that just because I thought that adding paint would add a dimension to this project. If you leave it white, I think that would be very cute. I think it would look like a little wintry spot. You can see how most of the cotton is being built up in layers. Here I'm putting on a few little pebbles made of wadded up cotton. I'm going to keep them green at first, and then later we'll see about adding some gray or black color. And I chose watercolors to color the batting. For one thing, it is what I had, and for another thing, I like how they mix together. Here's a dark green that will look deep and rich. Here is a brighter, more lime green. I think that lime green looks a little bit more naturalistic in this kind of a setting. Please pardon me while I chew the top off of this piece of paint, of this tube of paint. And it still doesn't come out very well. Why aren't you coming out? I'm going to fix you. Excuse me, please, for violence. Still not coming out. Peel it from the back end. Yeah, that's how you get in at the paint. No, still not coming in. Oh, there's a sharp thing on the lid of the paint tube. Let's try that. Okay, now we're getting a little bit of bright green paint out. Crafts are hard. And my third color is just some yellow ochre, which I use also for naturalistic purposes. I was thinking of the colors that come in sphagnum moss. I didn't want to use sphagnum moss. Like, you can get it dried for crafts and things. I didn't want to use it for this because I thought it would be harder to come by at home. And this, I just randomly get dabs of paint and I smear it on the wet glue soaked cotton. However it dries will be fairly random, just like grass is and moss in real life. It still allows the wood to show through. Some of the strings pull up. I have to reset some larger pieces, but I think that this is coming out well. I will probably lay down the leaf that I made so that it can take the paint a little bit better. Dabbing at it while it's up is okay if I'm going to leave part of it white, but in this case we want it to be a little bit more fully covered. And I can make it a little bit firmer shape when I set it back up. If you were to leave this white, you could sprinkle it with clear or white or blue glitter. I think that would make it look even more wintry. And now we're going to need a little seat later. And you can decide for yourself how you want your spool to be. This is an old antique wooden spool. We had somebody donate a big bag of them. And, either end looks different. Also, for size purposes, you may want it to sit on its side. Also, thinking about it as a seat in the woods, I think it might be better to have it on its side. It's like a little rocking chair that way. I'm just taking a brief measurement. And then, how are we going to fix it down? It's okay to use hot glue if you would like. Hot glue is always good for projects like this. I think it leaves a little bit too much of a clear blob. I wasn't sure how I wanted it to look. There's also, you can make your own out of window glazing or spackle. Make little rocks and things that the spool can sit among and then also be stuck down. This time, though, I decided that I was just going to use regular, undiluted tacky glue. It doesn't have to hold up to a lot of playing or rough wear. It just has to stay in place. So I'm going to put some glue right on the spool. And it will be overbalanced and roll away very shortly. There it goes. And set it right in the middle, or in this case, a little to the side, because we are building a scene. Don't forget that we are building a scene and placement matters. And that's our first step.